WWE had another big week of shows. With the company getting ready for Survivor Series, the shows heading into the Big Four event is quite different than usual. Foregoing the brand warfare theme, one that has grown stale in recent years, they have focused on other feuds that already exist. With WarGames matches added to the show, they look interesting for once and could be quite a show overall if booked well. However, with Survivor Series still 2 weeks away, the company had a lot of other build-up to do, and with Sami Zayn missing out on shows due to a tragedy in his personal life, WWE storylines were a little different than usual this week. This is Wrestling Hub, and here's what WWE told us through programming in the last week. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official and follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. While WWE tag teams typically don't last too long, 2 tag teams on the main roster have proved the lie through their careers over the last decade. The New Day and the Usos are 2 of the tag teams that have lasted the longest in recent times, and as is expected from the 2 veteran tag teams, this has led to them creating some records and finding a lot of success. The 2 teams are certainly no strangers to each other. They have been battling for what feels like decades, and that's because of all the times they have clashed over the years in different situations. They have faced all the odds and have even seemingly overcome them at times. They have worked together at times, with one of the best moments in recent WWE history coming when the Usos forfeited their round in the gauntlet match that was building to Kofi Mania, and at times they have been the fiercest rivals as well. The New Day for the longest time have held on to the record of being the longest reigning tag team champions. However, with the Usos on a dominant run with the Bloodline, that was under threat. The Usos were close to breaking that record when they were challenged by the New Day, but unfortunately for Kofi and Xavier, it was too much for them. They clashed during SmackDown, but at the end of the day, they were not able to defeat the dominant Bloodline members. They fell short with the Usos retaining their titles, and as a consequence of becoming the longest reigning tag team champions in WWE's history. With the Usos beating the New Day and breaking their record, now remains to be seen who will be the ones who beat them eventually. With them overcoming all the odds and with the Bloodline in their corner, it does not appear there are any clear challengers who can finally unseat them from their position of power. Last week, Mustafa Ali thought it was his day as he seemingly was the one who was going to make his way out to enter Seth Rollins' open challenge for the US title, but before he could do anything, he was interrupted by Bobby Lashley. He was thrown around the backstage area, stopping him from coming out. He would not stay down and attacked again, but it was to no avail as he was still thrown around as if he was nothing. This week, the superstar attacked him once again during the show. Lashley interrupted Rollins when the latter was out there ahead of his match against Finn Balor. Lashley made his way out, making clear that he was not done with Rollins at all, and after his last week's match never really took place, he wanted to attack the star. Before the two could get into it though, Ali interrupted them, jumping on Lashley's back. The Almighty threw him out of the ring, saying that it was a message to anyone who got in his way, but Ali came back and attacked the star again. Lashley threw him out again, but now annoyed, he asked Ali to meet him in a match since he had a problem with him. The two met in the ring, and in a match where Ali got more offense than anyone was expecting, Lashley defeated him. However, in recent weeks, it's been clear that Ali's gimmick is that of a babyface underdog. He has faced and defeated multiple stars, with Rollins especially facing the superstar multiple times. The theme of his current run has been that no matter how many times he has been put down, he has gotten back up again and attacked these stars who put him in that situation to begin with. With that, even with him losing to Lashley, Ali is likely not done with the superstar and will continue to challenge him again. In fact, doing so multiple times more. If that leads to the star being put out of commission or not remains to be seen. Austin Theory was the talk of the town last week when he tried to cash in on Rollins during the US Championship match between Rollins and Lashley in the main event. Lashley had absolutely destroyed Rollins and laid him out. It looked like there was no hope for Rollins, although everyone was confused why Theory was cashing in on him instead of Roman Reigns for the most prestigious title. He came in and took Rollins out, almost pinning him, but before he could do so, Lashley pulled him out of the ring, beat him down, and put him in the Hurt Lock. By the time Lashley was done with him, he got back in the ring. Rollins was waiting for him in the ring and hit him with the stomp, taking him out. He pinned him to retain retain the title. Theory's cash-in was universally criticized, and it made no sense, with critics like Vince Russo saying that he was not only buried, but the briefcase was buried with him as well. Even Triple H caught a lot of flack for the way that this was booked. He does what Vince McMahon does that I never did one time in my career. Not one time, and that's blatantly bury people. You saw it on this show. You saw it with Theory on this show. You saw it with Ali on this show. Why would you want to bury in any one shape or form a player on your roster that you're paying? What is the logic of burying anybody on your roster? It makes no sense to me. Now, Theory has explained his reason on Raw. He talked about how he tried to cash in the briefcase on Roman Reigns multiple times. He mentioned that he was taken out during the SummerSlam cash-in attempt by Brock Lesnar, and when he tried to cash in during the Clash at the Castle event, he was taken out by Tyson Fury. As a result, he felt that Reigns was untouchable, as even if he was able to get past the random superstars who were stopping him, he was still going to have to go through the bloodline. As a result, he was left with no option but to look elsewhere he could cash it in, and that was why he looked at Rollins and the US title. He had a beard and was teasing a character change, saying that the briefcase was nothing more than an anchor for him, and while Lashley had stopped him from winning the title, he was ready now to get back to winning ways. He was interrupted by Dolph Ziggler that led to them wrestling in a match. During the match, his other more vicious side came out. He and Ziggler had a good match, but towards the end, he seemed to lose control. He beat down Ziggler and even kicked these steps into his face in what seemed like a botch. He continued to beat the star down on the outside before the officials had to separate them. He eventually left while shouting that he was no kid. For the first few weeks, it appeared that after pairing up with JBL, Corbin was going to be a serious heel. However, fans don't have to worry about that, it appears. This week, JBL and Baron Corbin were playing poker backstage and were joined by Akira Tozawa, who claimed not to know how to play the game. Despite that, he was able to win and apparently bankrupted Corbin, taking all the money he had. He then ran away after challenging him to a match. While it seems that the star is certainly serious about his potential and is no longer the joke that Happy Corbin was, he will be involved in funny segments and is not a man on a mission type of heel that fans were worried about. He faced and defeated Tozawa in the match eventually, but not before he almost came close to losing. Shinsuke Nakamura returned after an absence on SmackDown after a long time, but it didn't end up with a happy return for the superstar. He was facing one of the newly brought up superstars from NXT on the show, and Santos Escobar proved what he was capable of by defeating Nakamura in a quick and dominant match. It appears that Nakamura is far from a push in WWE right now, even with Triple H calling the shots. Austin Theory is now a top star in Raw again. While Seth's match with Finn Balor ended with Rollins retaining the title, he was punished a lot more than anyone expected. Theory made his way out to the ring and attacked Rollins, beating him down on the outside and punishing him. The way he beat him down made it obvious that he hated the star. This side of Theory is one that's not been seen recently and is also something that WWE will have to do a lot to hold on to. Instead of the usual irritating heel attitude, it was clear that he was showing a different side of him, one that's more vicious and might not be stopped anytime soon. Now with Seth under attack, could this be the start of a face turn for him? Fans will have to wait and see, but that appears to be where this is headed. And this is what WWE told us. Hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.